Hey guys, I'm Evan.
I'm Rebecca.
And yesterday we spent all day long butchering the chickens that we raised out here on pasture, plus we butchered some of our tom turkeys that were over in the barn. It was a long day.
It was, and I'm so glad it's over.
Yeah, and we still haven't got everything cleaned up from yesterday. So we've got this chicken tractor, we got to put it away for winter. We've got to pick up this electric poultry netting, put it away. I've got farm equipment that needs to put away. There's a lot of stuff that we need to just kind of straighten up around here. And the chickens and the turkeys, we can probably show you those. The chickens were huge.
Yeah, this batch was much bigger than the last batch.
Yeah, in fact, we had trouble actually getting them to pluck. They just seemed to be so much bigger. And the turkeys actually ended up being smaller than what you thought they would be. So they're a heritage breed turkey, so they're not the meatiest turkey in the world. But we'll show you guys the results of yesterday and how big they turned out to be. We'll probably be able to weigh the ones from the first batch too and tell you the difference, because this second batch was definitely bigger.
Yeah, and we can tell you the hiccups we had along the way.
Yeah, there's always hiccups along the way, and we definitely had at least one big one that I can think of.
So we're down to 5 turkeys. Our herd has been decreased. We have 1 tom left and 4 females. He's a whole lot calmer now that the other boys aren't around for him to strut and fight with. And he might be a little skittish after rounding them up yesterday.
Yeah, we pinned them all up in a pen, and then we picked out how many males that we're gonna butcher. So I think they're all a little bit leery of us today.
Not Gertie, are ya? Well, maybe she is.
What are you doing? Are you gonna do this again?
Well, I was trying to see, these look...
I think you knocked them all off.
No, these look so ripe.
You just hit Oreo with some...
He doesn't care. He's like, drop them into my mouth. He was looking for them. Well, one fell right underneath Oreo. I can't get that one. There's some on the ground. Fireball.
See what happens when you make friends?
Here. Here's one. Here. Want
And
it?
they just follow you around. You know, he's looking for you in your hand for it.
I know. I'm going to have to come out and get them later. I'm keeping these.
He's going to get aggressive with you. He's wanting
You have to get the ones
persimmons.
on the ground. Look, my hand's empty.
So we still got the chicken plucker to put away and the killing cones. As you can see, we got a pile of feathers here left over from the chickens and the turkeys, and they're going to go to the compost pile.
Your forks are too far apart. Well, maybe not.
Well, almost lost the chicken plucker. The forks aren't just quite the right width.
Oh, may need a shovel. So this refrigerator has all the birds that we processed yesterday. It's completely full, so we have 17 chickens and 6 turkeys that we did yesterday. We even had to shove them in the bottom drawer. So we will keep them in here for a total of about 3 days just to age them, and then we'll get them frozen and put them into this freezer where we have the first batch that we processed.
So the chickens we raised this time were definitely bigger. We actually had to put them inside of turkey bags. They wouldn't fit in their regular chicken bags. So this is our biggest bird, and he weighs just at 9.5 pounds. That is a huge chicken, 9.5 pounds. Our second biggest is basically within a couple ounces of that. 9.2 ounce, or 9 pounds, 2 ounces. So very big chickens from the second batch. The males always end up being bigger, so those averaged right around 9 pounds or maybe a few ounces under that. Now on our first batch, here's one of the chickens from our first batch. This is the biggest one, right? So this is the biggest one from our first batch, and it is 6 pounds and 12 ounces, so 6 3/4 pounds. So you can see there's a huge difference, almost 3 pounds difference between the first batch and the second batch, and I think that's just crazy. So if anything, this batch here may have went a week longer than the other ones, but that's still a lot of weight difference between the two. So the turkeys, I know these aren't shrunk down, so it's going to be hard to tell. The turkeys are way longer, being a turkey, but they're skinny and they're long. They actually pretty much weighed the same as the meat chickens did. But they're a lot bonier, so there's actually probably less meat on these turkeys than there are these chickens. So this turkey right here, it weighs 8 pounds and 8 ounces, around in there, 8.5 pounds. So you can tell the turkeys were harder to pluck because it doesn't want to spin in the plucker, so you end up hand plucking quite a bit of it. And you feed them these probably fed for 3 months or so. So definitely not probably the ideal situation because you're putting more feed into them, you're raising them longer, and you're probably getting less out of them. But it was an interesting experiment to raise the Royal Palm turkeys this year from eggs and just kind of raising our own birds this year. But definitely they're a lot smaller. They're smaller than the chickens. That's the weird thing. So Rebecca said earlier, the day of butchering, we had a couple hiccups, and there is one for sure that sticks out in my mind.
Well, the first one I'm thinking of is the night before butchering, we went out, we pulled the chicken feed. All the meat chickens were doing fine, but the morning of butchering, we went and gathered them up, and one of the hens was dead.
Yeah, we went this whole time, 2 batches of chickens, never lost a single bird. Normally you lose some early on. And yeah, the day of butchering, we go out there, and the first one we had died the day, it was dead out there.
And I said, well played, hen. You ate all of our feed, and the day of butchering, you just died.
Yeah, and that just I don't know. That just happens sometimes when these birds get big. They just can't handle that much. You saw how big they were. They were huge. Mm-hmm. So their bodies can't take it. They have a heart attack or something. They end up just dying from being too fat. So the one I think of, is the hiccup I think of, is that when we went to do the turkeys, we grabbed 3 and dispatched them. We went back and grabbed 3 more, and we had them in a dog crate. And so we were reaching through the end door on the dog crate, but there's actually a side door on the crate as well. And one of them somehow squeezed through the door on the side of the dog crate.
Yeah, hopped on the truck, took off towards the house, got on the porch, and ran around back toward the pond.
Yeah, and a turkey out in the middle of the open like this that can fly is like impossible to catch. We didn't think we were going to catch him. And we didn't for sure where he was going to go.
I thought he was going to try to fly across the pond and that maybe we would have had to go and rescue him in the boat. But luckily,
yeah, because I don't think he would have been able to fly all the way across the pond. But so we weren't for sure what we were going to do. So we started going around the house, and I was thinking maybe we could get him at least in the pasture. Maybe he'd go back to the barn. We could catch him later. But miraculously, we somehow herded him to the back of the house.
Yeah, we caught him with a fish net.
Yeah, we got him cornered on the walkout, where he was kind of on the walkout of the basement. So he was kind of cornered in there, and we couldn't catch him. We were going back and forth. We couldn't catch him. Finally, he went right next to the fish net, and I'm like, I'm going to use that. So I grabbed it. It's like a little dip net. And he jumped up on one of the tables.
Yeah.
And I just put the net down over his head, and we caught him that way. But there for a while, I didn't think we were going to get him.
It was kind of a nice reprieve, but because it had been a very hard day, and we laughed quite a bit trying to catch that turkey. And we considered maybe letting him stay, but 2 toms in the barnyard's too many with 4 of the girls, so.
And I think the reason we laughed is because it actually ended up being easier than we thought it was. I mean, we were kind of like at the point of how in the world are we going to catch this turkey? Somehow we did it.
Yep.
All right, we're getting this water tank set back up because we're moving the steers back out to this pasture now that we've got the chickens all gone. They'll have free reign out here. And we're gonna set it up on this concrete pad. This is what we cleaned up when we hauled off all that metal, so you can see how good the concrete pad looks. Right now, all our junk is sitting over here on this one over here. So we're gonna string an electric wire around this to keep the steers out. We'll use that solar charger we had on the chickens. Then we'll just use a single wire, some temporary posts. And we're gonna put the water trough right up against that so that the steers can't step where the garden hose goes into the back of it. We'll keep that so the steers can't step on it and break it. So this water trough we bleached out, and it's not the cleanest. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here that needs hosed out of it. And that's what Rebecca's doing, just trying to get it cleaned up. Go ahead and get our garden hose on here where the auto fill valve is. I think I got this where it's not going to leak. I got rubber washers and everything now. Well, I'm hoping this wire's close enough that they won't get behind this water trough. Well, it appears that it's on. So, at least it's hot now, so if the steers test it, they'll know not to get in here, because we don't want them stepping on all this junk. The wire's on. I gotta step over this thing somehow. I put it on the very top of that one. Mm-hmm. I need to like loosen that up a little bit probably. Oh! It's shocking pretty good now. So in the video where I cleaned out the pig pen, see what the pigs had dug up, we found this Coke bottle. I had several people ask me, look at the bottom of the bottle. They want to know where it was made at. Now, first thing that went in my mind was that Terre Haute, Indiana claims to be the birthplace of the Coke bottle, where it originated at, the iconic Coke bottle like this. But on the bottom of it, it actually says, Paris, Illinois. And that is where Rebecca was living when we first started dating. So that's kind of neat. It's actually somewhere pretty close to here. Well, I ended up, filled the bucket a little full. A little too full to shake. You guys ready to move? Hey, what I got? Come on, Fireball. Come on, Fireball. You gonna come? You sure you don't want to do this? Because they'll follow you better.
They're following you. Here comes Oreo.
Come on. Come on. Petey's got to come.
Look.
See, he'll follow you better than he'll follow me. Here.
Look, he's got...
Let's switch roles here.
All right.
You can be the feed girl.
Come on. Come on, buddy. Hey, come on. Look.
Why is he messing with that mineral
I don't
tub?
know. Fireball, come on. He's just playing. That's pretty funny that even though you have the bucket full of feed, he comes to me, I had nothing.
I know. You're the one that, you're like the animal whisperer. All the animals love you. So besides the fly traps that we've used and the bovine rub that we've used to try to keep the flies off, in the evening when we feed them and they're in front of the trough like this, we've been spraying them with permethrin. We mix that up in one of these little pump bottles, and that's the same ingredient that they use in horsefly spray. I know that they use it on like camping equipment, like tents and stuff like that, to try to keep the fleas and the ticks and the flies and stuff away. And when they're in the feed trough like this, they're so interested in trying to out-eat the other one that they'll stay here and let us spray them down. And that seems to be, after we get done spraying them, most of the flies go away, but it doesn't seem to last very long. So we typically do this on a nightly, or every couple nights we'll do this to them to help keep the flies off. Well, I said I was going to try to put the hay equipment away tonight, but I think I told myself a couple days ago I was going to try to relax a little bit this weekend. So I think we're going to quit for the day. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get a bale of hay for the steers and drop it in there, because the grass hasn't been growing very much lately. And we just
Well, it's fall now, so the grass isn't growing quite as quick, and we've not had any rain for a while.
Yeah, it's been dry, and it's still going to be dry. So we'll give them some hay so they have something extra to eat on. And I think we're going to call it a day and try to relax a little bit tonight and enjoy the beautiful weather that we're having.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.